a lot of courage to come up and talk about something that you're passionate about and everybody may not understand and may not appreciate. So I certainly, she has my heart when I see her stand there and just pour out to you. There's going to be so much more of this over the course of the next year. You are so lucky that you're getting the first little piece of it. You're so fortunate. Now, next I want to bring up someone who I met in seminary. We were both working on my Master's of Divinity up at the American Baptist Seminary of the West. Though you meet someone, you never know someone's story. You can sit and you can hang with them, you can converse with them, but you never truly know their story. So Sandra Mayfield is going to come up and give you a snippet on her story. Hold on to your seats.
My name is Sandra Hooper Mayfield, and in 1990, actually I remember the date, January 9th, 1990, I said, "Send me, Lord, I'll go." And I gave my life to God, so that's why I'm sitting here. and I'm grateful for that. And I just want to thank my chosen sister, Dr. Scott, for blessing me in a zillion different ways, layers of ways. Even when I don't see it as a blessing, it always is. So I'm going to share my experience, strength, and hope in a general way, and I want to tell you that I work with women now who are our agency is open to women, street walk, anybody who needs women's services, and so I see the what they call human trafficking. I call it prostitution, call it what it is, every day, and the results of it. And so I'm going to tell you a little story. And I'd like to start it off with my mom. My daddy was rich and my mama was good looking. And they came here in the early 40s in that migration. And my father worked on the waterfront, and my mother stayed home and took care of us. And life was wonderful. And then one day, she died. I was 10. And I had to move. That part of the story isn't necessary to tell, because today I honor my elders. They did the best they could. But I had to move into a situation that was abusive, emotionally, sexually, and physically. So when I was 12 years old, I left. I had never been anywhere by myself. And I got on the bus and went to the end of the line all night, to 72. And the end of the line was 7th Street in Oakland. But I didn't know that. Just went back and forth. And then when I got, the bus was terminating, there were a couple of men there who offered to take me home with them. And I went with one of them. And he got me a room. And over the next 3 years out there, I always had that room. And I consider that an angel in my life that day. So anyway, that journey took me to the streets. And at 12, I was looking at my little grandbaby up here, and I was looking at what 12 was like. Wow, really? You know, and I didn't know I was going to tell this story today, but it's the only one that I have. And so I'm here to share it. And I'm blessed that instead of being out there, my granddaughter's up here doing something different. But so anyway, so I was out there, and a lot of things happened. A lot of things happen. To write a book on the things that happened. What ended up happening to me was that I got picked up about every 2 or 3 months or whatever and taken to juvenile home. But I want to talk about what I felt. And when I look at the young girls that come into my office, what I see, and for me, it's about community responsibility. And not just agencies, but individuals. And because I had a place to go. I had a lot of places to go. I just didn't want to go there. And these kids don't even have anywhere to go if they wanted to go somewhere. And so that's the difference. And I had a solid education. I had a whole lot of things that they show up without today. And I look at them, and sometimes it's like it seems like it's overwhelming. But for me, the process has been having to heal. First, have somebody come in and love me. Somebody, anybody. And that's wanting to be free from abuse. And this whole society is abusive to these kids from the time the baby is born. They're giving C-sections to 15-year-olds now, just because their insurance doesn't allow them to take the hospital. It's ridiculous because they don't have any advocacy. So, but anyway, I went through the bondage, mentally and physically, of being held captive by pimps. And it does something to your mind and your self-esteem and your dignity. And once you're in that situation, it's hard to get out because sometimes you feel like there is no way out. And at 12 years old, you really don't have a way out. And so I see these kids the same age that I was. It was rare for somebody to be out there my age back then. But now that's the normal age. And these kids, the guys or women, because they all doing it now, they don't even feed them. So in my situation, it was a place for me to be at 12 years old, so I didn't have to go home. And how would I know the damage that it would do? So eventually I got into a foster care situation, and that didn't work either because at that point I wasn't a kid. And so at 17 or 16, the Alameda County or Contra Costa County emancipated me as a minor. And I had a child who saved my life, really. I wanted to do and be something different. And so I took my baby and moved away from here and started my life over. But the long-lasting, long-reaching results of what had happened to me didn't allow me to live in a way that I pretended, actually, that everything was okay. But deep inside, I couldn't stay in a relationship. I didn't trust anybody, and I was isolated. I appear to be an extrovert, but I'm not. And so I was really miserable. And I got twice, and that didn't work. And then one day, I started to drink alcoholically, and I think worse. And then one day I was sitting on the floor with a bottle of wine, trying to figure out how I could escape this world without hurting my painful. I could say that Andy saved me because my house was too dirty to die that day. And and I would like maybe die like Dorothy. I didn't have no energy to get dressed. And so when I was sitting there on the floor, and I've been in this world out here by myself since I was 12. And so I know that when my mother died that day, something is closed. And on that day, something opened up. And that something is my, and God was able to come in and show me a different way. So I got involved in a program, and October the 16th, I will have 22 years of sobriety. And for that I'm grateful, because the journey, it has been about learning about myself and undoing what was done. And so I was telling somebody the other day that, the Bible says that be ye not conformed to the world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so I'm on that page right now, renewing my mind. All things work to the good for those who love Christ. And that's true for me. And the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want is a complete prayer for me. I shall not want for anything. And so, or anybody, or any situation, because God is all that there is. And so, but that's the message, is God is love, and that's all that there is. And that's all these kids need. That's all that they need. But there's a process to that. I watch people sit up in church all day long and then pass by the prostitutes outside like they dirty. Everybody is a prostitute. Everybody is giving away their body for something. And so it's so much work to do, it's ridiculous. And if one person would just give one kid, you don't have to be a professional. All you have to do is love and take one kid and mentor a kid out of that situation. I was thinking about a house, but I also was thinking about how I wouldn't go to any house. I wouldn't do that, because once you're a kid and you get the freedom that you get out there, then that's probably not going to happen. But to get out on the street and give somebody your heart, or a sandwich, or something that look in their eyes and say, I see you, sister, and I love you, rather than looking at them with disdain, because they are us. Yes. And it's all it takes. We can't all work in agencies, we can't all, but everybody can play a part. And so that's my story. And you never know why you're in any certain place. God is so exciting. Yeah. Yeah. He's so dramatic. Yeah. And he has a sense of humor too. He's cracking me up. I'm like, really? And for some of those situations that I find myself in, but I will never forget the day that I said, send me, Lord, I'll go. And I will go. And so if anybody needs to connect or is willing to connect with some of the women in a mentor situation, I'll give you my number. And since this thing is happening and I'm here, I know that I'm supposed to be a part of it. And so whatever you need me for, I'm here. Thank you.